Have you ever lost something precious, something that held a piece of your heart? What if there was a place where lost things came back? Today, I want to take you to a small, peaceful village nestled by a very special river. This isn't just any river. The villagers call it the Giving River, and for a very good reason. Every spring, when the snow from the mountains melts and breathes new life into its waters, the river brings back things that were thought to be gone forever. Imagine walking along its banks one sunny morning and spotting something bobbing near the shore. You reach for it, and your heart skips a beat. It's that wooden toy car you lost as a child, or the locket your grandmother gave you that slipped from your neck years ago. The villagers have stories upon stories of these magical returns. They say the river doesn't just return objects, it returns memories, moments, and feelings. It seems to have a gentle wisdom, a sense of timing that's almost uncanny, giving back these treasures exactly when people need them most, when their hearts are finally ready to receive them again. It's a beautiful tradition. Each spring, the villagers gather by the water's edge, not with desperate hope, but with a quiet, patient trust. They share stories of what they've lost and what the river has returned in years past. It's a celebration of memory, of second chances, and of the mysterious, comforting presence of the river that flows through the heart of their community. For them, the river isn't just a body of water. It's a keeper of secrets, a guardian of cherished moments, and a friend who always remembers. In this village lived a young girl named Suri. Suri was an artist. Her world was painted in colors and lines that others often missed. Her most prized possession wasn't a toy or a piece of jewelry, but a simple, worn sketchbook. Its pages were filled with her dreams, her observations, and her heart. She drew everything. The way the sunlight filtered through the leaves, the wrinkled smile of the village baker, the dance of a butterfly in her garden. This sketchbook was more than just paper. It was a part of her soul, a silent friend who understood her completely. One breezy afternoon, Suri was sitting on her favorite hill overlooking the valley, adding the final touches to a drawing of the sunset. She was so absorbed in capturing the fiery orange and soft purple hues that she didn't notice the wind growing stronger. Suddenly, a powerful gust swept across the hilltop, snatching the sketchbook right out of her hands. She gasped and lunged for it, but it was too late. She watched, helpless, as her precious book tumbled through the air, fluttering like a wounded bird, until it landed with a soft splash in the river below and was quickly carried away by the current. Her heart sank. Panic and a deep, aching sadness washed over her. She scrambled down the hill, her eyes frantically searching the water, but the sketchbook was gone. It had vanished into the very river that was famous for returning lost things. But in that moment, all Suri could feel was loss. The colors of the sunset she had been so joyfully painting just moments before now seemed to mock her, their beauty lost in the grayness of her grief. Tears streamed down her face as she stood by the river's edge, the emptiness in her hands mirroring the gaping hole in her heart. Days turned into a week, and Suri's sadness didn't fade. The world seemed a little less vibrant without her sketchbook. She tried drawing on new paper, but it didn't feel the same. Her hand felt clumsy, her inspiration gone. The joy she once found in creating was replaced by a heavy sense of loss. The other villagers, seeing her sorrow, tried to comfort her. They reminded her of the Giving River's magic. "Be patient," an old woman told her kindly. "The river knows the heart of things. It will bring it back when the time is right." But Suri wasn't sure. Her sketchbook was just paper and ink. Would the river consider it precious enough to return? It wasn't an heirloom or a valuable treasure. It was just hers. One evening, unable to stay inside any longer, she walked down to the riverbank. The moon cast a silver path on the water, and the gentle lapping of the waves was the only sound. She sat on a smooth, cool stone and just watched the flow. She didn't plead or demand. She simply closed her eyes and whispered to the water. She spoke of the drawings inside, of the memories held in each stroke of her pencil. She told the river it wasn't about perfection. Some pages were smudged, and some drawings were unfinished. But it was the story of her world. "I just miss it," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I miss the feeling of holding it, of knowing my thoughts were safe inside." She wasn't wishing for a miracle, but simply sharing her grief with the silent, flowing water. A strange sense of peace settled over her. She didn't know if the river heard her, but she felt a little lighter, as if she had shared her burden with an old friend. The next morning, the village awoke to a beautiful spring day. Sunlight danced on the water, and the air was filled with the scent of blossoms. As was their custom, some villagers were already strolling along the riverbank, their eyes scanning the water's edge. Suddenly, a young boy shouted and pointed. There, resting gently on a patch of mossy stones, as if placed there by a careful hand, was a book. It was Suri's sketchbook. Someone ran to fetch her, and when Suri arrived, she could hardly believe her eyes. She approached it cautiously, her heart pounding. It should have been ruined, a soggy, pulpy mess. But it wasn't. It was perfectly dry, the cover only slightly weathered, as if it had been on a long, gentle journey. She picked it up, her hands trembling. It was real. It was back. She hugged it tightly to her chest, a wave of pure, unadulterated joy washing away all the sadness of the past week. The villagers smiled, their faith in the river reaffirmed once more. As she walked home, clutching her returned treasure, she couldn't wait to see the pages inside. She sat down in her favorite sunny spot and slowly opened the cover. All her drawings were there, untouched and unharmed. The smiling baker, the dancing butterfly, the half-finished sunset. Everything was exactly as she had left it. She flipped through the pages, her fingers tracing the familiar lines, a grateful smile on her face. Then, she turned to the very last page, a page she had left blank. And there, she saw something new. It was a small, simple drawing she hadn't made. Delicately sketched in a soft, silvery gray pencil that wasn't hers, was a single, perfect, gentle wave. It was so simple, yet so full of meaning. It felt like a signature, a quiet message left just for her. It was as if the river itself was winking at her, acknowledging her whispered wish from the night before. It felt like the river was saying, "You're welcome," or perhaps even, "Thank you for trusting me." From that day on, something changed between Suri and the river. She visited it every day, not out of sadness or longing, but out of friendship. Whenever she approached the bank, she swore she could see the water's surface respond. A series of small, friendly ripples would spread out towards her, a gentle greeting that only she could understand. The river was no longer just a feature of the landscape. It was a living, breathing entity, a companion in her artistic journey. She would sit and draw for hours, her new sketches filled with an even deeper appreciation for the world around her. She drew the river in all its moods, sparkling in the sun, dark and mysterious under the moon, and playful with its ripples. The villagers would see her by the water, her face lit with a serene joy, and they would nod knowingly. They understood. Suri's story became a new legend in the village, a beautiful testament to the river's magic. It reinforced their belief that the giving river didn't just return lost objects. It returned them when the heart was truly ready to appreciate them again, sometimes with a little extra magic tucked inside. And for Suri, that little wave on the last page of her sketchbook was the most precious gift of all. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the giving river. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from magical places. Let me know in the comments what precious item you'd wish for a river to return to you. See you next time.